Welcome back to Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Windybank, and since we've been gone, a whole lot has happened in the world of Eurovision. Today we'll do our best to cover most of the important stuff, including, perhaps the most important of them all, the fact we have our first song for Eurovision 2025 in Basel. That song is from returnees Montenegro. It's called Clickbait, and it's by the group NeonoeN.
I hope this contest can live up to its promise and continue to stand for peace and dignity for every person in the world.
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.
So first of all, Montenegro are back at Eurovision after an absence of 2 contests, last appearing in Turin at Eurovision 2022. Secondly then, they've already managed to put on a national final, Montesong 2024, and choose a winner in the form of Clickbait. Montesong marks the return of a Montenegrin national final, which we last saw staged in 2019. Montesong is, however, a brand new format, and NeonoeN are the very first winners of Montesong. The first edition of the programme took place just a few days ago on the 27th of November 2024 in Podgorica and features 16 songs and artists competing to represent the nation in Basel. The show was more so a celebration of Eurovision and Montenegro at Eurovision than anything else, with plenty of airtime dedicated to this. The format of the show saw a 50-50 voting system, with half the points coming from televoters and half the points coming from a professional jury. It is worth noting that perhaps due to low interest, only a few thousand votes were cast in total, with the televote winner only getting about 400 votes. Clickbait managed to do well in both the jury and televote, finishing second in each. However, if just 30 more members of the public had voted for Nina Zizic's Dobrodošli, then she would have won the jury tiebreak and won Montesong instead. So it does go to show that every vote really does count, and that matters because, well, Clickbait just isn't very good. In fact, before the show, it was joint last in the odds to win. And it's not just me. The song has been generating strong opinions online since it won, and most of them negative. More optimistic people have been comparing it to Let 3's entry for Croatia in 2023, but Let 3 are superstars compared to these amateurs. Sadly, I and many others can't really imagine a reality where this comes anything higher than 38th in Basel. The other big news that's come out since our last episode is the identity of the new Eurovision Song Contest director, who we now know will be Martin Green. If you go back to July, you might remember that we did a whole episode on who might get this job, and my primary recommendation for the job was in fact Martin Green, so of course we here at Vote for the Music are very happy about this choice. If Green applies, I'm sure he'd be the one to get it. He seems exactly what the EBU need after Eurovision 2024. He'd be perfect for the role. The only thing that stands in the way, I'd say, is the fact that Green is currently employed by T8 as their vice president of global live events, and he only started the job earlier this year. That could potentially lock him out of applying for a new job right now, which would be a great shame. However, I don't know the technicalities of his contract or his current state of mind when it comes to the Eurovision Song Contest. He would be the ideal choice, though. Martin Green is perhaps best known as being the man responsible for the opening and closing ceremonies at the London 2012 Olympics, one of the most spectacular live events ever produced. He also had much success as the managing director of Eurovision 2023 in Liverpool on behalf of the BBC, and was a large part of why that Eurovision was just so successful. For me, he was the obvious choice for the role, and I'm very happy that the EBU have put him in charge of the world's largest entertainment programme. In other news, the Junior Eurovision Song Contest 2024 in Madrid has been and gone, with Georgia winning the contest for a 4th time. Their song was To My Mum by Andrea Putkaradze. So congratulations Georgia, and congratulations Andrea. We hope to join you in Georgia for the Junior Eurovision Song Contest 2025. we've also had plenty of exciting news about numerous national finals, including what I think we could call the big two. Melodifestivalen and Festival di Sanremo. We'll be going into details about both of those national finals in full during separate episodes coming out very shortly. So those are the main headlines since the last podcast. Stay tuned for more Eurovision news in the coming weeks and months. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to follow us or subscribe to us wherever that is. You can also find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads at VTFMHQ. So until the next time, thank you very much for listening, and remember to vote for the music.
Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast, is produced by Benjamin Windibank and Tadeusz Tislak. The theme music was produced by Joe Telt and Benjamin Windibank, based upon a composition by Michael Nekrasov. Thank you for listening, and remember to vote for the music.